All right, and welcome back, folks, to another exciting episode of A Distinguished Conversation. I'm your host, as always, Noah, and today on the phone with me is a very special, esteemed, returning guest on A Distinguished Conversation, Miss Cass Borvh. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Not too shabby. This last weekend, I got a new pair of boots for work, and so,
Ooh.
I had a pair of Doc Martens that lasted me forever, and when I first got them, I don't remember really having to break them in, but this new pair, it took out my left foot. I was limping by Sunday.
I believe it. Those new boots will have you goofing.
I don't remember that the last time I got a pair of boots, but...
Well, Doc Martens are, notorious for having to be broken in.
You see, they were...
I've never owned a pair of those, so I can't really speak for it.
Well, so the last pair were Doc Martens, but, I don't know. This pair of shoes has been cursed since day one. First they sent me the wrong pair of shoes, and then I do finally get the right ones, but, only after I called, 4 different times. And
that's so annoying.
It is. And then finally I get them, and then, my left foot's bleeding, so...
Yeah. Oh, God. I feel you, though, actually. The first, 2 weeks I lived here, I've been walking, so much more than I used to. I don't really drive anymore.
Right.
So I have, I got a couple blisters on my feet, but they've since gone away. I guess I'm getting used to it, but I understand your pain for sure.
Faux shizzle. Well, I guess that's actually a great segue into I guess a majority of today's topic is Chicago. You moved, you said goodbye to us, and you didn't want to leave your band behind, but alas you did. And
I know.
All for the better.
I miss you guys.
How is Chicago?
Well, it's big. There's a lot going on, and I love it here. I'll be honest. I'm a huge fan of walking. I didn't realize how much I actually hate driving.
Yeah.
Until I moved here. But I think part of the reason I don't like driving anymore is because of the drivers here.
Yeah.
They are absolutely insane.
That they are.
Worst I've ever seen. And I've visited quite a few big cities.
Yeah.
I haven't been to New York, though, so I feel like that would probably be the one to compare to. But they're bad, bro.
I don't know. In New York, I went a few years back, and there's not so much driving that goes on there as much as it's traffic, and so you're just kind of bumper to bumper with everybody, and it's just part of it. I don't know.
The traffic is pretty bad on the freeway here, but in the city I don't know, it tends to move pretty steadily, and people just drive crazy. I don't know how else to put it. They drive like there's no rules. Yeah. I actually had a guy, I was trying to find a parking space, and I had a guy pull in front of me, slam on his brakes, because I guess I was driving too slow. Naturally. And rolled down his window and was, screaming at me, hey, you need to learn how to drive, and all this. And, of course, I ain't no bitch. So I was yelling back at him, yo, literally get a life. If I was being too slow and you wanted to go faster, then pull around me and drive away. You're just wasting both of our time now.
Yeah.
And then he tried to back into me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I had to, be quick with the reverse so that I didn't get hit with his car. He finally drove away, but I was just Jesus, bro.
What a loser.
Who spit on your muffin? But, besides the driving, Chicago has been wonderful. I love Columbia. It's, I can't even explain how awesome it is to be able to go to the school. I love all of my classes. I'm taking a songwriting class, which is definitely my favorite. My teacher's super cool. He has a lot of positive feedback to give, which is nice. I just performed my first song for the class yesterday, and I got to play piano and sing for everybody, and that was pretty nerve-wracking because I'm still trying to get over my fear of playing piano in public, but it went better than I expected, so I'm counting it as a win.
It's funny that you say piano because that's actually one of the ones that I've been trying to do a little bit more piano stuff. I feel like I have one song where the main instrument is going to be piano, and that's coming up. I've been using a lot more of the organ and synths and stuff like that just to kind of accessorize my songs, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been trying to get a lot better at piano. When you say you performed in front of your professor, what song did you do?
It's actually a new one.
Oh.
I wrote it about my shitty roommate that I was living with before I moved here. It's called I Know a Guy. His name is Noah. I will call him out because he treated me like crap.
It'd be that way.
But basically, it's just a song about the shitty experiences that come from living with another person, like them not picking up after themselves and like leaving trash everywhere and leaving their dirty dishes for you to do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a comedic song.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was pretty funny, I won't lie, and the class seemed to like it. They were really hyping me up. Somebody compared my voice to Indina Menzel, and I almost fainted on the spot. Because what a comparison. Like, that's such a compliment.
Yeah.
She's an absolute beast of a vocalist. So
that she is. Well, like I've said, when we've done vocals with you and recording, you're very hard to like do vocals for a live setting just because of how great your voice is, but in a recording setting, yeah. But in a recording setting, like I've not really had to touch your vocals at all. So, like, yeah, you have a phenomenal voice. I think
thank you.
I think the audience and everyone who's listened to your music or have seen your live shows, they all know that. Just whoever's mixing the soundboard at those live shows is gonna hate you.
They're the ones with the challenge. It's funny you say that, actually, because when I performed that song, I was like, I don't need a mic.
Yeah.
But I'm also in like a vocal techniques class. And we had like our first performance for that class, and it was just a song of our choice.
Yeah.
I sang "Oh My God" by Adele, and the mic was a little hot, and totally, even though I was pulling it so far away from my face, I was getting like distortion through the mic. I was like, I don't need this. Like,
yeah.
Let me just like put this down so it's not like this terrible like buzzing sound coming through. So yeah, I've kind of discovered that I have the ability to project really well, which I didn't realize how well until I got here, really.
Nice. I feel like I'm in one of two spots where I'm either like kissing the microphone and like just putting my mouth so close to it that it's like either barely touching it or like touching it,
eating the mic,
yeah, or I am like a foot away because I'm doing all the loud stuff, and I feel like there's just no in between with me.
Yeah, well, somebody commented after that performance that I should like pull the mic away, which I thought was funny because I was doing that.
Yeah.
But it was simply that, it was too hot, so it didn't really matter how far away I pulled it from my face. It was going to give some feedback.
Yeah.
But then we just had our second performance for that class last week. And one of the notes that my instructor left was good mic technique. So I redeemed myself.
Well, as long as the teacher's happy,
Right. I was like, thank you. Yeah, but I'm not just doing like performance classes. I'm also doing production classes, which has been amazing. I'm learning like so much about sound that I never thought I would be interested in, but it's actually all very, well, no better way to put it, interesting. Learning about sine waves, just sound in general, how it travels through spaces. I finally understand the point of padding in studios. Like, I get it. I get the weird shape. I get why it's there. And then I'm taking an audio electronics class, which is turning out to be one of my favorite classes, even though I know nothing about electronics. So we build these little snap circuit boards and basically learn about like how wiring works, how electronics work. And it's been crazy because it makes me look at stuff differently. I got some lights for my room, like just those little like fairy lights you hang on the wall. And I'm looking at the box and I'm like, oh my God, this is a circuit. And I can see it so clearly, like all of the components. And it's so funny to me because like I never gave a shit before about this kind of stuff. But now I'm like, ooh, like I wonder what this is. And like, it's just like, kind of makes me look at stuff differently. I think in a positive way. And I know my phone is like listening to me because I've had videos of people on Instagram pop up and they're fixing instruments and like taking it apart and like redoing wiring or like soldering or like restoring pianos or organs that like were in a fire. So I'm seeing like the advanced audio electronic stuff on my feed and it makes me like that much more excited about it.
Well, like I in agreement with that. Like I like one post about a guitar and next thing I know is everything is something about a guitar or a bass or a different instrument that I don't need. But yeah, I mean, like I remember when I first started getting into recording and I got an interface and I was like, what the hell is this supposed to like?
Oh gosh, I know.
I was just like 8 inputs. I was like, I probably will need all those for drums. And like now it just seems like I felt like it was rocket science the first time I plugged in an interface and was just trying to figure it out. And now it just seems like I turn it on like it's nothing, you know? And
I definitely understand that. I actually was so frustrated yesterday because I was trying to record. I've been working on a new song about being delusional. It's really good. I'm kind of obsessed with it, but I was trying to plug in my guitar and record, and I had just done it a couple nights ago with my bass because I wrote a bass line for the song. And so I was like, I had everything plugged in, all the settings on the right thing, and I could not get signal for the life of me. And I'm just sitting here like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. So I took my chord and I'm like, it's not me. I didn't do the settings wrong. I know it can't be me. I've done this plenty of times. So I like plugged my chord into my amp and hooked it up to my bass, and my chord is shot. So I had to order another one online, but I was just like, God, like, why did this have to happen? I guess it did last me a good 3 years, so I guess I can't complain too much. But I was sitting there for like an hour just pissed off because I thought it was me. I thought I like had chosen a wrong setting or plugged something in wrong, but it wasn't me. It was just
the chord.
A bad chord.
I mean, chords though, those are expensive. Because like, especially depending on how long. Like for performances, I tend to need the longer ones. And like this year at Butler, there's a song in the headliner set where I actually get up on stage.
Ooh, look at you.
So I know I'm moving my way up. I'm now with the dancers.
Taking the spotlight.
Yeah, that was actually the one note. They were like, they're like, we like the idea of you being up there, but if you steal any of the spotlight from the dancers, you will be, you will go back to whence you came, you know?
That sounds like smack.
Yeah.
But honestly, you deserve that attention. I feel like you've earned it at this point.
Oh no, I don't know. I just do what I'm told, and if they tell me I'm up on the stage, then I do that. I was mostly just trying to figure out the song because, like, the song that we learned, it's Uptown Funk. But like the problem is, or not even problem, the cuts are just so weird, and it's like one after another that the song that I learned is almost completely different from the song we're actually playing.
God.
Yeah, it's fun. But anywho, it goes back to the thing about chords. Like longer chords, like the longer they are, that's like, that's another $20. That's another $20. You want an extra 5 feet?
I know.
You know, it's like, it's outrageous.
Like, come on, I know that much copper in the wire is not costing you like an extra $5.
That's what I'm saying. You know, copper. It's like pennies, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
But like all of a sudden, they're like, "You want a 20-foot cord? That'll be $49.95. You want a 25-foot cord? That'll be $2,000." And you're like, "What?"
Yeah. It is frustrating for sure.
Life is hard as a musician.
Honestly, there's always a money barrier with all of the equipment related to music, and that's been one of like the most difficult parts about music for me, at least as somebody who wants to like produce, is getting all the equipment. I mean, all you really need is an audio interface and then a DAW.
Yeah.
But like, you want more than that. Like you want to get your plugins, your good plugins. You want to get instruments. You want to get like just like all the different stuff you could possibly need to make music, and it feels like it's always $10,000.
Yeah.
Or you don't get it.
Yeah. I like with guitars, I've gotten to the point where I kind of like the cheap guitars. Or not necessarily cheap, but like if it's a no-name brand, and as long as it holds tune, that's the biggest thing. You know, everything else you can either swap out or play with as you go, fix with like different pedals and whatnot. You can
always change the strings and
but as long as it plays well and stays in tune, that's my big thing. And I feel like most of my guitars aren't over $500. So, like...
Yeah, I think probably I have about a couple grand worth of equipment sitting in my apartment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably comes out to around like $8 grand, $9 grand if you include my laptop.
Yeah.
Because God knows that was one of the most expensive things.
Yeah, that's did we have this conversation the last time we were at when we recorded?
I think we did, yeah.
We were like, how much stuff is in here and how much like price point? And I was like, I don't it's the numbers just make me sad. Like but like the computers, I've learned so much about computers in the last like year. I know what files are now, and that makes me so happy. I'm still figuring out folders.
Yeah, that is one of the things I'm learning about in my fundamentals of audio production class. Like different specs for recording and like all the different file forms and all that.
Yeah. Well, like MP3, I use that for like the podcast because I don't need crisp quality audio, and since it's so long, I basically just need to move the file, you know. But with like all my music, I try and do that through Wave just because better quality.
For sure.
But Yeah, like I don't know. It's all weird stuff, and I will never understand it. I will never know the technical terms for these things, but alas, I will keep doing what I'm doing.
Hey, well, I'll share my knowledge with you because that's why I like moved all the way to Chicago, was so that I could get like a real like deep understanding of what I'm doing. Because I'm one of those people who if I don't know like what I'm doing from A to Z, I don't want to do it.
Fair enough.
Like, and with music production specifically, I've always struggled to like teach myself with all of the resources online. Like, I need a teacher, and that's why I moved out here. And I have already been learning so much, and I'm not even that far into my program. So I'll definitely share the knowledge that I learn with you as I learn it.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's part of the reason. Like, I send anytime I record something, I always send it to like 3 different people. My best friend Atticus, you, and like recently Aaliyah, the drummer from Profanity.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
I always meant to make it to a Profanity show, but I met the guitarist.
Yep.
I can't remember his name off the top.
Connor, I believe.
Yeah, Connor. He's the other person who ran sound at Monica House when I was there. He's cool as fuck, but he didn't have any shows with Profanity before I moved, so I wasn't able to make it, sadly. Yeah. Although, definitely go support the band.
Yeah.
If possible, shout out Profanity.
Yeah, Profanity, you're the best. Like, I kind of want to say they're better than Borvh and Noise Candy and all that, but kind of don't. You know, you kind of want to have like some pride in yourself, but like
I haven't seen them, so like, can't say they're better than me or worse than me. I don't really know.
I have seen them, and they're pretty great, pretty not terrible.
Pretty fantastical, amazing.
Yep.
10 out of 10.
The show that I saw, it was them and a band called Keep Flying, which I met the bass player, and he's one of the like 4 people that I've met who knew the band brand new. So that was pretty cool. You know, I just started talking about brand new for like 10 minutes, but the only reason, or not even, I'm trying to think of how to English this. Like, the only thing was, as great as their set was, as great as they were, they followed Keep Flying, and it's like, trying to think, it's like following the Beatles, you know?
God, yeah, I know what you mean.
they had a great set, they just followed such a phenomenal set, and I was like, yeah, you couldn't top that one. But theirs was like great.
Sometimes,
like, I also saw Sproke that same night. And like
I love Sproke.
I hadn't seen any of their sets yet, so that was awesome.
Oh, really?
And they did I think it was one of their newer ones, but they did this one where it was like the Star Spangled Banner, and he screamed out, he's like, "If you want change, you better fucking do it yourself," or something like that. I was like, "Preach, amen." And then it was like the Star Spangled Banner, but it was like this really rocked up, sludgier and dirtier than how Hendrix did it, and it was just nasty, but it's such a great, like, it was nasty but lovely to listen to, you know?
Man, I wish I could have heard it. I ran sound for them when I was doing my little sound internship over at Monica House, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching them perform.
Oh yeah,
it was quite the challenge too. Me and Connor kind of tag teamed it, trying to get the vocals to balance with both the guitar and bass.
Yeah,
proved difficult, but we made it work.
It was loud enough where nobody could hear otherwise. No.
Well, it's actually super interesting. So when I was doing the sound internship there, I knew nothing about sound.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nothing. My knowledge was zero. And now, since coming to Columbia, where I'm taking fundamentals of audio, science of acoustics, introduction to audio, all these classes related to it, it makes so much more sense now. Like, I wish I could go back and do it again with the knowledge that I have now, because I would be so much better at it. But I still think I did pretty good for a beginner.
Faux shizzle. I feel like today's episode is just going to be a giant unsponsored ad for like Columbia and Monica House and just everywhere else.
Low key.
So
but they're good places.
Doc Martens. Except I'm mad at Doc Martens right now. Get your act together.
Fair enough.
So, you mentioned songwriting class and that you got a couple new songs in the works and whatnot. What's it like writing songs without your backing band?
Oh, well, I'm always pumping out lyric ideas. Yeah. Like, my notes app is full. I would not ever want somebody to take my phone because they would see my deepest, darkest secrets in there in the form of song lyrics.
Yeah.
And also, like, what I buy at the grocery store and a couple other various things.
Naturally.
But, yeah, it's proved a little difficult. Where I kind of struggle with songwriting is marrying the music and the lyrics. I've never struggled making, like, a vocal melody. It's just the accompaniment that is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's pushed me to play piano more. And, like, I've been writing my own bass lines. I was trying to break out the guitar, get the dust off of her last night. But, of course, I ran into that cable issue. So
naturally.
That's going to have to wait till this weekend, unfortunately. But I don't know. It's been good for me.
Nice.
We've been exploring form, so I do kind of have, like, rules that I have to follow as far as the lyrics go, which honestly is kind of irritating. I mean, like, I understand the purpose of it, but, like, for our last assignment, we had to write a strophic song. So we have verses and a refrain, but there's no bridge. There's no chorus, really. You can call a refrain a chorus, but it's like one or two lines, so it doesn't feel like a chorus. So
fair enough.
It kind of challenged me to, like, work outside of the typical form that I would write in, which is good. And I think I came up with, for my last couple of assignments, some pretty solid stuff. My teacher seems to like my work. He's been, like, my biggest hype man. He was telling me, or the class, I guess, about his, like, experience in music, and he was signed to Tidal Records in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, at a time where they were just signing a fuck ton of artists because they realized that the music industry, there was money to be made.
That there was.
So he was voted, like, the best guitarist in Chicago, which is huge. But nice. I think even cooler than that, Nirvana, before they got big, actually opened for his band.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought that was crazy. I was like, no way, bro.
Nirvana opened for your teacher. That's...
Yeah.
That feels like the kind of thing that your friend makes up to sound cooler, but, like, it's actually true.
Oh, I know. I'm, like, little sus, but, like, I believe him because, it's his life. And I don't feel like he has a reason to lie about it. He has this teaching position for a reason at the school for a reason,
Of course. Now, here's the real question. Is he like, yeah, once Nirvana opened for me? Or is he like, there was this one time where Nirvana opened for me?
No, he's so casual about it.
Okay, then it actually happened.
Yeah, no, he's a cool guy. Definitely appreciate his class, and it's made me get out of my comfort zone because as much as I love writing, I'm not as keen to share my stuff with people. Like, that's been really hard for me. I've been writing music for years, and only really the past, like, 9 months have I been sharing my original work. And even then, like, I don't show people the beats I make and stuff, like, unless I'm like,
I've been playing with you for like 9 months.
Huh?
I said, I've been playing with you for like 9 months, so cool.
I know. Yeah. I know. You guys, Tyler, Marcos, you made me get out of my shell. Nice. I appreciate you guys for that.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I've been forced out of my comfort zone to like share my lyrics and like share my original works with people. And like, I've gotten really good feedback so far, so it definitely like inspires some self-confidence, which is a feeling I have been searching for years. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always a great feeling whenever you make something and people are like, that's really great. And then there's also that other horrible feeling where they're like, that one's not so good.
Yeah, and I know I have those, but I think that like most of the songs that I wrote that were like really bad or like really
those are just tucked in a file somewhere in notes.
Yeah, I went out of my way not to share those with people because I could just feel in my bones that it wasn't it. I mean, you have to experiment, like you have to try and fail, or you're never going to write anything good.
I like to keep crap lyrics. I keep them just in case I ever need them for something. But like, if you want, I'll go through some list of some old songs and like specifically some old titles because some of them are kind of funny. This one's a great title. Fake breakup song about a real girl, but this time I actually really like her and we were friends, but I was too stupid to tell her I really like her, so instead we break up.
Oh no. That is a long song title.
Oh yeah.
You should put it into like an abbreviation and it's just the first letter of every word.
So what would that be? FBUSSARGBTTIARLHABWTSIWBU.
And everyone would know exactly what you mean.
Exactly. This one's a good one. She's too shy to meet my friends, my family, and me.
Oh God, that one's hilarious. I won't lie.
This one's I got that one from David Letterman. That was top 10 signs you might have an imaginary girlfriend, and number 1 was she's too shy to meet my friends, my family, and me.
10 out of 10.
So
that is a great song title, and you need to use it. I want to hear that song.
I like the idea was there, but the lyricism, like I go through some of it, and I'm like, all right, some of it's like not terrible, and some of it is just like, I don't know. I don't know.
I know what you mean. I'm going to see a couple bands Thursday night, so I guess tomorrow night. And the thing that made me decide like which venue to go to was the name of the bands. So my 2 favorites are Rat Bath,
lovely,
iconic, and Midwest Bisexual.
Fascinating.
10 out of 10. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I want to see you perform. And Rat Bath, how fitting for Chicago.
Rat Bath.
We are quite literally in a rat bath.
Did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
I did. I love Parks and Rec.
What was his band's name? It was Rat something, wasn't it?
Oh God, it's been years since I like watched the entire thing.
What was his name?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I want to say King Rat, but that wasn't it. It was
I'm gonna look it up.
yeah, it was something with a rat. Mouse rat, house rat, something like that.
It was Mouse Rat.
Mouse rat.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good.
Yep. Maybe I should do a band just based about rats.
I mean, I'd come to your show. I would anyways, but
Fair enough.
especially if rat is in the title.
Just ratgasm or something.
Oh my god. Some of the band names here are pretty epic.
Yeah. I have this one return guest, and he's the nicest like older gentleman who like I feel like every time I talk to him he's like, yeah, I got this new amp or I got this new guitar. He's always he's got a flexible income, let's put it that way. But
Fair enough.
we always talk about guitars and stuff, and he was like, I have this, I think it was grandson who was in a band, and it was something like Screaming Vaginal Jesus or something like that.
Oh my god.
And he was like, it's a fascinating name, but he was like, yeah, that's his life, his band, I was like,
Yeah, speaking of bands, I've been trying to find a band here, not to replace you, but to find people to perform with. I actually have been networking.
Very nice.
Trying my best to socialize. And I had a guy named Sergio reach out to me, and he asked me to open for his band on October 28th.
Way cool.
And I was like, I would love to. I don't have a band, though. And he was like, don't worry about it. We'll be your band. So
nice.
I have my first show in Chicago, which is insane. I did not think it would happen this fast, but I'm really excited about it. I've been trying to get all of my musical ideas together in a file to send over. I sent him the audio track for the song we recorded. I have not mixed it yet. I'm waiting until I learn about mixing and mastering from my teacher to touch it, because I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to attempt and then destroy. So I'm going to wait until I actually have some idea of what I'm doing. But I am excited. I have at least 3 original songs for the show.
Way cool.
And then I'm probably going to do some covers just because it's this month. So I don't think I'll have time to put together a couple more songs that are original, at least, and make them good.
Yeah. No, I get that completely. There's actually a show, I think, on October 30th that I'm going to be playing. It's the English is hard, CMRA thing.
Oh, cool.
And so I kind of agreed to play 2 songs for different people, but I'm kind of trying to take a break from live performances and focus on making music, because I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of because like I said, I got songs about she's too shy to meet my friends, my family, and me. The second album I was writing was this sad religion album with titles like Your Dog is a Psychopath, which that one's actually one of my popular ones whenever I play that one live.
Deservingly so.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing. I even mentioned Scooby-Doo in it,
Weirdly, why haven't I heard this song? Now that I'm thinking back to it.
I don't think it's ever popped up at any of the shows that you've been to, or that I don't know. Either way,
send it to me. I want to hear this one.
The version that exists, I don't know what, the snare is horrible and it ruins everything. But fun story about the vocals. While I was recording the vocals for it, it has a lot of screaming in it, and so. It was actually before I was going to Butler, and I finished recording the vocals. I did it all in one take, and I got a call from my mom as soon as I finished, And she said, I don't know what you're doing down there, but whatever the hell is going on, you gotta stop. So I kind of just had this one vocal take, and I was like, fine, I guess I'll just use this one. Which like
to me anyways. I don't care about the quality. I just want to hear it.
There, I think I have because it was supposed to be like this 3-part intro to the album. It was called The Fallen, so it was all about religion, Christianity, church, and all that fun stuff. And the first song was called What If Life Is But a Dream and When We Die We Wake Up. And then that one was just me and a clean guitar, and it was just somber, it was slow, it was just kind of like some of your stuff, just
Hey, I'm trying to break out of that show. But I know what you mean.
But like reverbed out, just mellow. Then song number 2 was the complete opposite, where it was probably the closest thing I've ever made to something that was like Nirvana. And like we go from like really thought-provoking lyrics like, I duct tape my life because I don't got any glue. I'm not perfect, but neither are you. I'm a sinner, never was a saint. So I've quit trying to be someone I ain't. Blood's on my hands and I sink in the sand. Can't walk on water and hell's getting hotter. Bleeding naked, I belong on a tree with 40 lashes and 3 nails in me. Very fun, thought-provoking lyrics.
Prophetic.
Exactly. And then you go to song number 2 where it's like, what was it? Yeah, your dog's a psychopath. Yeah, we're all psychopaths. And then like the third song was called Jeepers, It's the Creepers, which was just a reference to Scooby-Doo. But like that one was kind of this, like I remember when I did the guitar tone, it was just as sludgy as I could possibly get. I turned on every single drive that I had and I just turned the tone down. I wanted it so that it was just pure sludge. Like the audio wave was quite literally just a square.
Oh my gosh.
So that...
Yeah, no, I believe it if you're putting that much distortion into it, if you're just slapping on every single pedal.
So yeah, it was, and that one... I feel like the instrumentation out of all of those songs is best on that last one. But like it was just kind of the closer where we've talked about song 1 was, like I said, it was thought-provoking. It was like there's no such thing as good people. There's trying to come to grips with church and my place and where I belong there or not there, or just coming to grips in terms with myself, I guess. Song number 2 was about calling out the people who had wronged me and calling out the people who I felt put me in that situation. And then song number 3 was kind of just going back to square one, where it's like the last part of the song is I actually sing Jesus Loves Me. But there's a little twist.
Me this, I know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like it was just Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. And like at the end, where it says what was it? Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. But I don't know. But I don't know. But I don't know. That's the like last part of the song is I don't know. And so it's kind of, like I said, going back to square one, and that's where the rest of that album's journey would begin. And you would just kind of, here's what happened here, here's what led me to this, what happened here. And the last song was kind of, I had this one idea for the longest time where every single album I would make would end in an instrumental piece.
You do make quite amazing instrumental pieces, I will say. I've always enjoyed them.
I don't know. I think the instrumental stuff, there is going to be a time and a place for that. Right now, I'm kind of thinking the newest song that I did, I'm just trying to be positive here.
I love it, by the way, and I want you to put it out so I can listen to it all the time.
Thank you.
And actually give you some money. even if it's the 1 cent for 30 streams that you get.
Yeah. So
at least it's 1 cent.
that is kind of what I'm going towards. Like, I'm gonna try and pick a few songs that I like from each of the albums that I've written, and like, I'm kind of on the fence of doing She's Too Shy to Meet My Friends, My Family, and Me. Like, that was actually the end of that album, where it was all about coming to terms with not needing another person in your life. So this was all the way back in like 2019 when I was like was writing that. So like
a hot minute ago.
Yeah, no, it was all my breakup songs from all the breakups I never had. I was just
Hilarious.
bored in writing songs. So like, there's another one where it's like fake breakup song because I have nothing better to do. Like, there is 4 or 5 of those where it was just fake breakup song about something.
I mean, honestly, that way your imagination just gets rolling.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you have complete like freedom of creativity there.
Oh yeah.
At least, like, don't shame yourself for not having to write an actual breakup song, because let me tell you,
they'll come.
it's not very fun. You
No,
sit
it's
there
not.
And you're like, God damn it! Like,
Yeah.
I'm so mad right now. Like, but it is good catharsis. It's good to get those emotions out for sure.
Yeah. I know I've talked about that before, how I have a hard time talking about emotions. And
you're
like,
really good at singing about them, though.
I can write stuff about them, and it's like the only way that I can really talk about it. Like,
I guess that's true for me in a way too. A lot of the stuff that I write about in my songs isn't stuff that I would necessarily bring up in conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
Like a normal human. Like, who wants to do
Talk
that?
about my feelings? Never.
Write
That's what a therapist is for.
Write a song and maybe make 1 cent every 30 plays.
Oh, hell yeah. Then maybe after I blow up and become famous, I can afford the therapist.
Exactly.
10 years later.
Oh, yeah. And, well, by that point, you'll have so many issues that, like, it'll be worth it. You know, you'll be getting your money's worth.
Yeah, it's like my therapy session, I'll have, like, a checklist to go through.
It's like, so
this happened and this happened.
So then I had to leave my band behind.
At some point, the music becomes the therapy, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Like, it is really therapeutic writing songs, because it's like journaling. Let's be real. It's like putting pen to paper about how you're feeling, except you use eloquent wording.
It's
you use
journaling with obstacles.
Yeah, exactly. It's journaling, but with a rhyme scheme.
Yeah. It's like, instead of when you're picking the difficulty selector on a video game, you go from like the normal setting to like expert mode.
Exactly.
Or maybe not expert, maybe like the hard mode, because I feel like expert would be like the Shakespeare stuff, and that it's just, you know.
Yeah, that's like complete mastery of language, including like a ton of old words that have no meaning in today's society. But if you are really into literature, you'll know what they mean. Yeah,
and I'm not. I'm like sort of into literature. Like,
I'm into literature for pleasure. I'm not trying to read Socrates because that is like nails on a chalkboard. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I took a philosophy class, and I need the modern day translation of what those people are saying. Okay, like
it's like go ahead.
Bad.
Yeah, it's like the Bible. You know, after I like King James version, because they go from like really hard to understand to like, okay, you can understand this, and then like
And you can have multiple wives.
Yeah. Well, isn't that
or is that King Henry?
No, maybe.
Who is it? Is it James?
I don't know. Let's look this
up. It's one of them. It was an English king.
Which English king slept around? Making my way downtown. I can't see. King Henry, multiple wives. It's 6 wives of King Henry. Now let's check with King James. Let's see what was going on there. King James, multiverse. Oh, that's LeBron James. Multiple wives. Here we go.
I think it's the King James version. Yeah.
Hold on. It's not bringing up like the actual King James. It's just bringing up polygamy. 34 Bible verses about polygamy.
I also got that in my
Bible verses about multiple wives. I'm just like, oh, here's a fun thing. I'm considering getting not just 1, but 2 tattoos.
Ooh.
I know. I'm at this point. I'm not sure what my verdict is on that, because I actually left kind of a counseling session I had on Friday, and the things that I took away from that session were more often than not we have to remind people rather than instruct them. I was like, that's really good. Like something I want to keep in mind when I like manage or when I work with people is to remind and not instruct. And I've kind of changed my my life philosophy, and I'm trying to live as water, because water just flows and becomes whatever it needs to be. But I'm trying to be like a calm stream and just flow in whichever direction life takes me. And I found it fairly helpful. Like on Friday, I first 2 tables I had at work, first guy tipped me $20. Second person complained to my manager and was like, yeah, it was terrible service, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know what I did.
I mean, you can't please everybody.
Precisely.
And, the entire universe is out of your control.
Precisely.
There is very little that you can actually control. So having the mindset of being like water and just adapting is kind of crucial. I find myself like typically when I run into frustrations, it's because, okay, well, this didn't go how I expected it to go. But I'm trying to learn to let go of my expectations, because then it makes the good things seem even better and the bad things seem
minute.
Like, okay, well, like not my fault, you know?
And that was like the thing that I was kind of learning about, that is that new mindset of, if I'm being honest, I have control over like nothing in my life, but what I do have control over is myself. And I'm just gonna try and like be as water. And whenever people are pissing me off at work, I'm just like, I'm just trying to be like water, man. so yeah,
just like Katara, like channel your inner waterbender.
kind of, but different anime. My anime of choice is Cowboy Bebop, and I just
solid choice.
It is.
There's a lot worse choices you could make. I particularly, personally, am a huge Hunter x Hunter fan, or if you want to get depressing, Full Metal Alchemist.
I do like
that one.
I shouldn't say I like being depressed, but I am depressed. So, but yeah, so that's I just finished the show and I saw the movie for the first time last night, and I don't know. I don't think it was bad, but like it wasn't quite what I was anticipating or hoping for. So,
Well, as the movie critic you are, I
know.
I don't think it was bad. It's a pretty good review.
Yeah.
And typically movies that are like spin-offs, not necessarily spin-offs, but that are derived from something so beloved, like an anime series,
yeah,
can be really shitty.
They can be.
They can be really bad. Like, if we want to talk about the live-action Avatar,
that was rough.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure they did it for, like, Dragon Ball Z and a couple other, like, major anime series, but
they did
Not
for
Bad
Dragon Ball.
It's a pretty good review, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so like it happens like right before the last 3 episodes, I believe, and so it's if you like the show, it's basically just an hour and 45 minutes of that, and so
That's
like
extra show.
Yeah, and so like.
Is it like a Easter egg almost?
Almost. Like there was one thing that I was kind of looking for in the film, or he gets a pot, and I was like, I wonder if that pot's on the ship when like you go back and watch the show, because I was watching through the show and then I found the movie the other day, and so I was like, I'll watch it afterwards because it's not necessarily important to the show, but it kind of does expound upon it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But because it happens before the series finale, it kind of doesn't have the tension. So
yeah, that's what I mean by like Easter egg. Like it's there for your enjoyment, but it doesn't necessarily like add like a ton of stuff to like the overall show.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to watch Cowboy Bebop. I think I watched the first episode like a couple of years ago, and at the time it just wasn't necessarily my thing. But I know like a lot of anime series, there's a little hump to get over in the beginning when you're learning about all the characters, and sometimes it takes a second for it to like get really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think Cowboy Bebop is definitely one of those shows, and I just didn't have the patience at the time, but I've been meaning to go back and watch it. So
fair enough.
Thanks for the reminder. Maybe I'll kick back and check that out once we get finished here.
Of course. I highly recommend it. That was actually the first thing that me and Aaliyah like clicked over was we both love Cowboy Bebop.
Is that the drummer for
Profanity? Yep.
Nice.
So, like, when I was filling out her paperwork for at work, and I was like putting her into her system, I noticed her wallet. I was like, "Is that Cowboy Bebop?" And then we were just best friends. Thanks. Now I have to bleep that.
Oh, sorry.
But
is she working at blank?
Yes, she was. And then she went to like pickup only and might be coming back. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah. Really cool person. Like, honestly, Aaliyah's just you haven't met Aaliyah, right?
No, I haven't.
Aaliyah is pretty chill, is like the coolest human being alive. Like, yeah.
Oh man, what a title.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to meet her.
Yeah.
When I come back to Kansas. That being said, I will be there over Christmas break. So.
Yay! Are we playing a show?
Love to get together. Huh?
Are we playing a show?
We can. If we do, I'd like it to be at Monica House.
Hey, we should do an all Christmas set.
I'd be so down. I'd be down to do like some punk versions of Christmas songs.
Have you ever heard My Chemical Romance's version of All I Want for Christmas?
I gotta say I haven't, but I will.
It's better. It's so much better. Like it starts.
Personal opinion, but I'm so down.
Like,
I don't know. After Welcome to the Black Parade and what's the song? Why am I blanking?
House of Wolves.
House of Wolves. I'm like, I don't know if I can keep up with this man's vocals. I'm trying my best.
They are so hard, and like
Seriously.
my favorite of theirs is Helena.
Mm-hmm.
And the vocals on there are just gnarly.
I feel like he was just blessed, for real.
He is.
What I wouldn't give to be like a high tenor man.
Yeah.
Like, I like have partially the range, but it always makes me mad when a man can easily sing higher than me. But I'm like, okay, girl, just channel your inner Adele, channel your inner alto. Like, they don't have the tone. They don't have your quality of tone. They don't have that deep chestnut voice. Like,
except Gerard Way kind of does. It's funny. Adele, my dad found her before she was famous.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. He like finds all these random people before they were famous. And he's like, oh yeah, I was one of the like part of their following. I was like, what?
Yeah, I actually, funny story. The reason I started playing piano was because of Adele.
Really?
Someone like you. I wanted to know how to play it on piano, and it sounded pretty easy. So I like taught myself it by ear. And then I just kind of became interested in the instrument from there and started to teach myself how to read music. And after my parents kind of saw my potential,
they were like, we
and
can
by
make some money on
potential, I mean, I didn't understand that treble clef and bass clef were different. So I was trying to play both in treble clef.
Lovely.
And my hands were on top of each other, and I was like, I don't understand.
It be that
and then
way?
they put me in lessons.
It do be that way. I don't understand any of it, so like I just, I just kind of listen to it. I'm like, all right.
That's not true. You do understand it. You know chords. Just because, like, I like have so much hate for the musicians that are like, you have to be able to read music to be a real musician. I know you don't. Like, especially you. You have a really well-trained ear. And you have enough knowledge to make it work. That's all you need, is to make it work.
I forgot.
Like, some of the best musicians that there are don't know how to read music. And maybe they learn with time because it's a helpful skill.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. And, like, you know that.
I forgot where it was, but, like, I was meeting... Let me see. Oh yeah, we got that kid Kyle. We've gotten together with him. I guess Marcos and Tyler are hanging out with him and jamming with him.
Nice.
So we're really excited to see where like the potential that he has in the future.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that because he had so much passion, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I'd love to help you, but I'm moving. Like I'm not the one.
I'm heading out.
People, though."
Yeah. But yeah, he's really cool. But I'm trying to remember. There was somebody where like they were like playing, but they didn't know what a chord was, and they were I remember actually the guy from Profanity, Connor, he's kind of like that where he doesn't know what chords are, but he like knows the shapes and all that. And that one...
He knows what sounds good.
Yeah. But there was someone else where like I was watching that and they were like, yeah, I don't know what like a note or a chord is. I was like, how do you not know even that? I was like, I don't... I feel like I don't know any of it, but like I at least know
at
what
least you know that.
major, minor, like...
Yeah.
minor seventh, like...
I mean, the thing is, like, even if you can't read music, even if you're just going by ear, the knowledge comes with time.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, you're going to look up a tab. You're going to try and, like, use that as a resource. Music is, like, knowledge that you can build upon.
Oh, yeah.
And, like... Some people, they need to go from A to Z. They need to learn how to read music. They need to learn, like, music theory. They're really into that kind of thing. Some people don't. And either way, it doesn't matter as long as you're happy and you're making music. Like you don't gotta know how to analyze a classical piece, like that's only if you're going to go into teaching or if you desire to have that level of knowledge.
It's funny that you bring up classical music because my mom, who knew nothing about music, and like it was so bad that like she genuinely didn't know how to like clap on time. That's like just how bad it was. And
you can't be gifted with rhythm.
But she had to take music appreciation for college, and so she liked a lot of orchestral and like pieces and like Tchaikovsky and Vivaldi, and
how could you not?
I at the time I didn't have an appreciation, but I remember probably about like 4 or 5 years ago, we sat in a Costco parking lot and she blasted the 1812 Overture and the Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons are iconic.
Yeah.
I love them.
That they are. I like Concerto, I think. Concerto, yeah. That fancy stuff.
Italian.
Yeah, whatever. What was the racial slur we came up with? Was it Fugocini or something like that? We came up with it at the last when we were recording. It was like a frappuccino and like a fettuccino or something like that.
Fettuccino, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It just sounds like a racial slur, like, hey, you fettuccino, get out of here.
It really does. It truly does.
I'm going to start calling people that and see what the response is. Hey.
Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, I got my start in music in the classical realm.
Uh-huh.
So my first instrument I ever played was violin. And I was pretty serious about it. I took lessons. I did like solos for the state competition. But I just kind of fell out of love with it. I was in a symphony for a while. And I love being in that kind of environment. It is really cool to see how so many instruments can work together to create something so fantastical. Like, a lot of the time when you're like in movies or like consuming media, you don't really realize like the effect the music has on it. But these symphonies, these big bands that come together and create such like moving music is really special. And that is something that I really miss being a part of. Like as a career goal, like I want to perform with a symphony.
Yeah.
I think that would be like one of the most amazing experiences to have all of those instruments just creating this like wall of sound.
Yeah.
Like directly behind me. Like that's something I kind of dream about.
Yeah.
And a lot of vocalists do that. But I also want to compose the music for it.
Yeah.
So I've been considering, after I finish my degree up at Columbia, pursuing a master's degree in like composition or something related to creating music for like film and video games, stuff of that nature, because it is something that really interests me. But I know that there is a lot of knowledge that I don't currently have that I would need to back up a skill set like that. So, but I do find it like so enthralling, and it's something I would love to be involved in again.
I think it was last week we were talking, I had Brent on the show, Mr. Piano Man, and he mentioned how his favorite like form of media or like film or game was Detroit Become Humans, but specifically for the score. And like I went back and I listened to the score because he's right, it tells its own story within the story of everything that's happening, and like it goes up and down, and like that's something that like I would love to do as well. Be smart enough to know how to work with an orchestra.
Yeah, I mean, it requires a lot of knowledge that people don't really think about, like knowing the range of all the instruments, knowing the capabilities of all the instruments. Like some instruments can do vibrato. Well, a lot of instruments can do vibrato. Some can't. Some have like technical things that they're capable of that others aren't. Personally, one of my favorite composers is the person who's done all of the work for Hayao Miyazaki, Joe Hisashi. His ability to tell the story through music is absolutely fascinating to me. Like, I just truly adore his style. I adore his skills. He was actually touring the U.S. and I was looking up his tour dates, and God knows I can't afford him because he's up there like that. Yeah. But I would love in my lifetime to be able to see him conduct an orchestra. I think that would be like just out of this world.
Why shoot for watching him conduct an orchestra? Why not shoot for conducting with him, you know? Sky's the limit for you.
Well, to be fair, he is up there in age.
Oh,
so
fair enough.
That's the main reason.
Fair enough.
I don't know that it would happen in my lifetime. Maybe in the sky after we both pass, we'll conduct together. But the goal right now is just to see him.
Fair enough. I kind of really want to see like Paul McCartney before he croaks. But like, I don't, kind of same situation where I'm like, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Well, speaking of that, I wanted to go see The Cure because they were coming through for Riot Fest.
Very cool.
And I'm a huge fan of The Cure. I love them. It's one of the bands my dad listened to growing up, so I always have a sad, particular...
depressing music connoisseur, a fan of The Cure? Wow.
That's so surprising.
I know.
I mean, honestly, though, they do have like a ton of upbeat songs with sad lyrics, which is what I'm striving for.
Don't cry.
But I wasn't able to see them because I ended up having to come to Kansas that weekend. But I'm hoping, like, living in this city in Chicago, that he will come through at least once more. And I'll be able to see him perform because I've always been super inspired by his music, specifically the piano. I learned a couple of his songs, like the Love Cats on piano. Super technically difficult, but so rewarding when you get it right. And just like his lyricism, it's like novel. Like it's so fun and like silly while being like an insanely composed piece. Like if you were to analyze that, like it would take you a long time because it's not simple. Yeah. And all my music theory people know what I'm talking about. You'd be sitting there like the wheels would be turning. I'll just say that, trying to analyze exactly like what he accomplished and a lot of the music that he wrote. So super inspired by him. I hope I get to see him sometime in the near future.
It'd be that way. Who's so you mentioned The Cure and I can't English. What'd you say his name was?
Joe Hisashi.
Joe Hisashi. So who is another, like, or if you could see nobody else, who's like that artist that you want to see?
Oh God, that's hard to say, honestly. And I know this is going to be like a very like early 2000s typical answer, but Miley Cyrus, because she has been in the industry so long. Yeah. She has an insane voice. I would love to see her or Noah Cyrus. But I say Miley specifically because she's at a point in her career where she's not touring anymore. Yeah. Because she's been doing it her whole life. And she wrote an album about it called Endless Summer Vacation, talking about how essentially she never really had a summer vacation because her whole life she's been shooting shows, she's been writing and touring and doing all of these like big commercial projects, and hasn't really taken time to like slow down and live her life. So I don't know like when or if she'll tour again, but I would love to see her, just because she truly is like a huge name in music, and her story is fascinating. I would say the same about Demi Lovato. I know these are like very big pop artist names, but like they do really inspire me. Just if you actually look into their story, their rise to fame, the stuff that they've gone through, as like young women in the industry, their exposure to drugs at a young age, their exposure to money. It's really fascinating to see the role that fame at a young age can play in somebody's life, and see like how it really affects people. So I find them really inspiring because they've been doing the damn thing since they were children. Kids.
My sister was a fan of Hannah Montana when that was a thing, and
so was I.
Like
I was a huge fan. I had a poster on my wall and everything.
she had her hits, but it's really interesting when you go back and you hear her voice from then and you listen to like her newer stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's matured a lot. Like that.
Yeah,
her voice.
Actually, one of the crazy things about her voice, she performed so much at a young age. She had to get surgery, and like nowadays she sings in a much lower register. She's essentially like a forever alto now, because her voice was so damaged from performing so much at such a young age.
Wow.
And so it's like crazy to think about like the music that she's putting out now is a result of all of the work that she was made to do as a child and as a young adult. And it quite literally destroyed her vocal cords. Yeah.
I know finding my voice has kind of been a thing for the last couple years, trying to figure out.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
It's hard. Because some days it just, it's always something weird.
Well, I actually, when I performed yesterday for my class, somebody was like, you sound like other people, but you also sound so much like you.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the best compliment I've ever gotten, because like as an artist, especially as a vocalist, I feel like I'm always like doing impressions of other people, or like trying to sound like other people because, you know, they have good technique, or like I want to emulate like the qualities that they have in their voice. But then at the end of the day, like I'm not really exploring like myself. I'm not exploring what I'm capable of. Like I kind of am, but not in the way that I need to.
No,
so
I
to get
that.
like that feedback, I was like, oh my god, like,
I've done it.
Thank you. I've done it. I was like, I cracked the code. Like I don't know. It's just, I've never had somebody say that to me before. And I remember my voice teacher saying last year, like, you try so hard to sound like other people, you just need to sound like yourself. And I remember my bass teacher saying the same thing. Like, okay, you're really good at sounding like Gwen Stefani. Like, you can sing just like her. But I want to hear what you sound like.
Yeah.
And then after that, I couldn't even play the bass line anymore. I was like so freaked out by him saying that. I was like, I don't know how I sound like. And then it was just like a disaster for the rest of the lesson. You know what I mean?
And then that lesson became a therapy session.
I was like, who am I? I don't know.
Music teachers, they take on different roles, folks.
Oh, do they? Yes, they do. Music teachers and English teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got to read all that sad poetry.
All of a sudden, they're like, English teachers are more, what is the word? they're more knowledgeable with the psychology and sociology of human beings than like the actual sociology and psychology teachers.
For real.
I like when it came to me and like kind of finding my voice one day, I don't even remember when it was, but I actually remember one of the first times I think I finally figured out where my voice was when I was recording Emo Doo-Wop.
It's a very good song.
It's all right. But where I just kind of like the chorus, I was like, huh, that felt natural. And then like the other stuff going on, the verses, I'm not always happy with them whenever I listen to them, but I'm like, you know what, it's part of the song. It's got this rasp that I don't even know where that came from. It just
came from within.
It just kind of happened. And I was like, okay, well, my throat doesn't hurt afterwards, so I must be doing something right. But
it's a vocal fry. If you do it correctly, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
As long as you don't talk in your fry all the time.
Yeah. I think that's a quite problematic for me, and I feel like I do talk in that vocal fry a lot, but I don't know.
I don't know. Vocal fry is like how are you guys doing? Hey, like you don't sound like that. Like, you don't sound like a news reporter that doesn't have a grip on life.
Do it. Just starting to sound like Sheev Palpatine over here. Yeah, but yeah, no, I just remember that rasp, and then the subsequent shows that we played with you, I always loved doing background vocals. Like I remember, I've never been a fan of Fleetwood Mac. Never really liked any of their songs, and somehow I ended up playing a handful of them.
So many of them.
And like Go Your Own Way, that was always one of my favorites. Whenever you can go your own way, and then there's just me in the background, you can go your own way.
I know, I felt bad about it at the Chicken and Pickle show, because like I kept singing it because I'm just not used to having backup vocals, so I would be like singing my own backup vocals, and you would come in, and then I'd be like, shit. Like, oops.
See, I don't mind doing or like even when we did Still Into You, I was doing the should be over on the butterflies, I'm into you. I was trying to do that in the back. And like,
it's good. It's good.
I enjoy doing stuff like that, partially because I'm like, all right, you know, if it's just the background vocals, nobody will care whether I'm too off or not, you know. As long as the main singer sounds good. If anything, I was more complimenting your voice because they listened to mine and they're like, all right, yeah, there's a reason she's the lead vocal.
I was struggling on Still Into You.
I remember
my voice was just like gone at that point.
I think all of us, well, because we had never done a show that long, like between that, the migraine, like I woke up the next morning and I was like, what the hell happened last night?
Well, you got a bloody nose on the way home.
That was very fun.
I know, you sent me that picture, or you sent the group chat that picture. I was like, oh my God, I hope he's okay.
I was driving, I sneezed, and next thing I know is there was like blood, and I was like, oh, and I didn't want to get over like the interior of the car, so I was just like holding my nose in my mouth. And like next thing I know, I was like, you know, if I was wearing a white or like a black suit, I would make one hell of an emo album cover right now. Like,
oh hell yeah!
It was fun times.
Absolutely, I definitely miss it. I miss performing with you guys, hanging out with you guys, and just you guys in general.
Oh yeah.
But I'll be back over Christmas break. We should definitely organize a show and do some silly, goofy Christmas covers.
I once was writing a Christmas song, and it was, what was it called? Seasonal Depression.
That was a 10 out of 10 title, if you're asking me.
Yeah, no, it's like, can you cure my seasonal depression? Can you be my reason for the new year or something like that? I don't know. It's fun stuff.
On the first day of Christmas, I scheduled a therapy appointment.
On the first day of Christmas, I scheduled therapy.
Exactly.
And a partridge and a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, I bought a bottle, Jack. No.
Bottle of rosé for me personally.
Bottle of rosé, maybe a bottle of Johnny. I don't know. Johnny. You know, it's we were talking about this because I was trying to. I have a lyric for a song where I was like, so it was like, since you've been gone, the drinks have become stiffer. And then I was like, what rhymes with stiffer? And we were trying to figure it out. And Jared from Monica House, he was like, I was trying to think of something like Eminem-esque where it's like a word that doesn't rhyme, but he makes it rhyme. I was like, yeah, no, I was like,
I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
But we ended up selling on the quicker picker upper Swiffer.
Swiffer?
Yeah. So
that's hilarious.
So yeah, good times. I look back at a lot of my songs. I'm like, do I have to pay royalties for all these? One day I'm just gonna be making money, and then I just have what?
You're gonna have a Coca-Cola sponsorship in the middle, or a Pepsi. Excuse me. You're a Pepsi person?
No, I'm a Coca-Cola person.
No, you're a Coca-Cola person.
You had it right.
I had it right. You're gonna have like a 30-second ad intermittent in the middle of your song.
If they asked me to, I would definitely do it. I'm the most anti-corporate establishment. Like, I hate all of it. But if Coca-Cola asked me, I'll do it for free.
I'll do it for free.
Just give me
the script.
Just give me the script and a lifetime supply of cherry cola.
No, that's what it was.
But yeah,
I remember you getting it at Blank when we went to go hang up posters.
Oh yeah. No, I have such
that sweet sugary goodness.
It's such a crippling addiction where like I'll go a day, like, and what I've been trying to do at work lately is I will drink water first and then allow myself a soda, or like been trying to take, like, I've been trying to, it's going to make me sound like an alcoholic, but like cut down on drinking. And I just have a soda at the end of the night. And I'm like, ooh, the dopamine.
No, I understand it. In the same way, like, I've been cutting back on smoking. I can say that because it's legal here.
Hey.
I've been trying to cut back a lot on it just because it's not very good for my voice. And honestly, since I've stopped smoking as much, if I smoke, I literally get so anxious. Like, I rewarded myself for getting really good grades on my tests with a little 0.5 gram joint.
It'd be that way.
And literally felt like I was going to pass out. My anxiety was so bad. I was like, everything is wrong. Like, having like a little panic attack after smoking. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't think I enjoy this anymore.
Yeah.
And as someone who like smoked every day at one period in my life, it's weird to see kind of how my relationship with it has changed. And
sounds like a song.
I think that, sorry, what?
Sounds like a song.
I know. Like, I gotta write one about it. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think at the time, maybe that was what I needed. Yeah. But now that I like have a focus on my career, like, I really know like what I want to pursue, I don't really have the time to sit around and get stoned anymore. Yeah. And it's really honestly not enjoyable anymore. So I think that like I can acknowledge that the stoner part of my life has kind of ended, and it's time for a new era, which does not include like getting messed up by substances.
I have too much in my pockets. That's a song I listen to quite frequently. Ever since we did that show, I was like, this is a rather pleasant
It's a great song.
It's such a great song.
It really is. It's one of my favorites.
Plug High by Slow Pulp.
Yeah, honestly, anything by Slow Pulp. They are one hell of a band.
Go
listen to them.
And they only have like 8 songs. So like,
I know. I'm like mad, but like I understand because
I would rather they only have 8 good songs rather than like 50 and like 20 of them are all right and 10 are good.
Exactly.
And,
that's what I'm saying.
Because then
that's how I feel about my own music. Like, and that's why I haven't quite released anything yet. Yeah. Because I know my standards. Yeah. And it's just not there yet.
Some of them
But that being said, I do think that I Don't Know How to Be Alone, the song that we all recorded together, I am going to release in the new year. So be on the lookout for I Don't Know How to Be Alone.
You hear that? She's plugging herself
on streaming platforms.
Yay!
Yay!
Maybe I don't know if it'll be next year, but I like I said, there's stuff that I want to do. So have I ever shown you the song Pineapple?
Yes, I do love that song.
So that was the first song that I recorded, and there's actually kind of a part 2. And it's just called Pineapple Pizza. And that's one that like I was looking at the other day. Good. Yeah, you know, like it's just something that whereas Pineapple is there. Well, there's actually have you heard the story of where that one came from?
Like Pineapple Pizza or your song?
The song Pineapple.
I don't know if I have.
So basically, when I was moving, I had this friend Carly, and I was going through like my first grade yearbook, and I found her in my first grade yearbook. And then I was like, all right, I don't know, like your picture, you look kind of dorky and it's kind of funny and whatnot, but whoever this kid is, like there was some Raleigh Jefferson looking ginger, and I was like, I want to know what this kid did with his life. Like, I need to know, because he had so much hope in his eyes. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to know who this kid turned out to be. And she was like, oh, he's in my class. I was like, what? So she sent me a picture of him, and like I had so much like hype and anticipation for this that when I saw him, it was just like I felt like the sunken Titanic.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, he looks like melted ice cream. So.
Oh God.
So yeah, I wrote a song about getting my hopes up too high about looking at some random guy because I wanted to. I was hoping ginger. Yeah, I was hoping this like poor ginger kid like was always still that same happy. Like just like, well, I mean, gingers have no souls. Like, I think you and I had talked about this. You know, there's redheads are pretty hot, but gingers, I don't know.
There's redheads and gingers are a different breed.
They are. You know, there's a fine line.
There's a clear distinguishment between redheads and gingers. Yeah. And it's usually a box of hair dye.
Yeah, but like there's also, you know, you have to look at the science and the freckles and like the nose and the, you know, all that stuff, because sometimes there's this weird middle line between a ginger and a redhead. And like a lady walked in the other day at work, and I was like, that lady is very attractive, and they were like, but she was more ginger. I was like, yes, but she walks the line just right. You know, she had a tattoo or two, she had the glasses, so I was like, you know, she had the kind of the nerdy girl with the bad girl, you know, like it was
I get what you're saying. Like, for sure.
I was like trying to explain it to my coworkers. I'm like, no, there's a science to it.
You're like, there's actually a math equation that I can do to determine like the frequency of redhead versus ginger.
I will what let's see. I'm trying to think of what you would call that. The Pythagorean theorem. I don't know. That's is it Roja in Spanish, something like that?
Roja, yeah.
Roja. Yeah, Marco.
Listen, you are Hispanic. Why can you not roll your R's?
I can sing La Bamba, and I can say "Comprende de dos papas para llevar por favor," and that is the extent of my Spanish.
I'm actually kind of impressed with my skills versus yours, from somebody who's actually been in Mexico versus somebody who just has dated a couple people who spoke Spanish.
Yeah, but but in that case, you're by it. Heard?
Oh God, sorry, it's so loud out here. I'm taking my dog on a walk because she was screaming at me.
It'd be that way. Dogs do that sometimes. But, like, you would be around them and have to communicate with them and kind of pick up a few things. I was, like, more...
I mean, they spoke fluent English, so I didn't have to. Well, I just did.
Right, but, like, anybody who is like, bilingual, they tend to, at least from what I've noticed, is they tend to still speak, like, the languages that you don't understand, and sometimes to you.
Spanglish.
Yeah.
They give you a little bit of both.
Yeah, like... At work, I work with a lot of people where they'll just start coming at me with, like, the most fast and fluent stuff, and I'm just like, what?
They work in the kitchen, I'm assuming?
That's racist, yes.
It's not racist. It is simply an experience that I've had, and It is the same at my kitchen job.
Yeah, like...
Or restaurant job.
But let's face it, Mexican kitchens are...
It makes me want to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you be talking shit on everybody in here who don't speak Spanish.
It's like, because we're doing
Because
this,
you can.
You know, they have their own little secret language that...
I just want to be that white girl that surprises them and, like, speaks back in fluent Spanish. And then they're like, oh, shit.
What has she heard?
Exactly. I'm working on it. I know a very basic. I know to drink and to eat. I know, like, a mother and father. But it's a learning process. I will get there.
It is. But yeah, I don't know. That's the language I really want to learn is French.
See, I know French.
That's
actually the language that I took in high school, and I actually went to Paris and met my pen pal.
Really?
Yeah, no, it was an amazing experience. I went and saw Beauty and the Beast in theaters in French, which felt very fitting considering the movie is based in France. And there was like a joke that I didn't understand that everybody laughed at, and I was just kind of like, I have no idea what he just said, but cool.
Yeah.
But no, that was humbling, but also very enthralling. And I will say, since moving to Chicago, I run into a lot of French tourists. So
really,
my French knowledge is finally usable. Like,
nice.
It finally has some practical application.
I had a song where it was called Cliche Love Song, and the whole point was that it was just supposed to be cliche, but I wanted to learn French to sing it so that, like, as cliche as the lyrics were and as, like, stupid as they were, I guess, you wouldn't know because they were in French.
I actually I didn't write, but me and my friend in high school wrote a song called Chanson Song, which is just song in French. And it was stupid and silly and just like on the nose, but it was really fun. And I definitely like find myself super inspired by like French artists. Paradis is definitely one I would recommend to those listeners out there. They have some really cool shit, and I just like every time I listen to their song, it's like a mindgasm.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll send one to you. Like the one I've been listening to a lot lately is called Toi et Moi, You and Me. And it's just fantastic. But a lot of their work is super cool.
Nice. Like I said, I've always wanted to learn the language, but probably never will.
if you ever want to practice, if you ever decide to take it seriously, hit me up, because I'm trying to like work on my conversation skills, because I'm a little rusty. I won't lie.
Faux shizzle. Well, we'll have to have you on the podcast more often then, because yeah. ever since Caleb, he took a full-time job, like people trying to better themselves. God.
Wow.
Everybody's moving away from me. I'm just like today I was like, who can I get in the studio? Because I was supposed to have Miss Adeline Hobbs and Chance Porter in the on the show today, but there was some time schedule stuff that happened, and so couldn't make it do. So
that's a shame. They better come back for another episode.
Oh, they will. They will.
I'm trying to listen. I miss Miss Adeline Hobbs.
She is the best, and like we were gonna do the game segment with them. I bought
that would be fun.
I bought Just Dance specifically for them,
and they didn't show up. No, I'm playing.
Yeah. Bunch of loot. No, they're great. But yeah, so they were supposed to be on, and like I said, time scheduling it happens. It's happened with I think everybody that we've had on the show, where we're like, hey, can you do it? Yeah, and then something.
Except me. I've been consistent.
Sure. No.
Hey, I might be late, but I still show up.
But yeah, no. So I was like, you know what? Cass hit me up, and we were talking. I should see what she's doing. I was like, yeah, she'll probably be on the show.
Yeah, just school stuff, you know.
Yeah, all that.
Staying busy with my 18 credit hours this semester, but honestly, it's way more manageable than I thought it would be, and I enjoy it, so that makes it 10 times easier.
Yeah, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's
truthfully.
That's what I've been told. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. No.
I don't know. Honestly, recently, like, even though like the things that I've been doing are challenging,
yeah,
it's been a lot easier because I know that like the outcome of it is that I'm better at what I love doing. And like I've been living in the tutoring center for like my science of acoustics class and my introduction to audio class, because they are all very new concepts to me and they don't necessarily come easily. So I've been working really hard to like truly have a good understanding of them, because I know that having this knowledge will benefit me in the future. So it does make a difference if you're pursuing something that like actually means something to you versus like something that you're pursuing for artificial reasons like money or that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I don't know about you, but there's no better feeling than performing and having that moment where you're providing entertainment for people and you all seem to be having a good time.
Yeah.
That really fills the void, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, performing's pretty great. Though I've heard from other people that sex is also pretty good.
You'll get there.
I thought the joke was funny. But yeah, no. But yeah, my one of my favorite like feelings is whenever we're playing a show, whether it's with the headliners or whether I'm just the guitar guy in Noise Candy, or just even playing my own songs. Whenever I'm just in that moment and everything is just clicking, there's no better feeling.
I agree.
And like that tends to be when I start to like actually get into it and move or jump around on stage. And like for the headliners, I know they've kind of, like I said, for Uptown Funk, they're like, don't do that. You know?
Yeah,
and
you
like,
gotta contain yourself a little bit, but
it?
The feeling is still there. The joy is still there.
The what was it? It's the girls' number this year, where all of us kind of we think they knocked it out of the park with that one, and typically like it's upbeat enough where I could jump to the rhythm, and they're like, nope, calm down, not today. It's fun, but yeah. Anyways, Is there anything else we need to talk about? Anything else we should address? Or
I don't know. Do you have anything in specific?
Not really.
Any questions for the big time city girl? No, I'm playing.
Where's a good spot to eat in Chicago?
Spots to eat. Controversially, I have not been out to eat much. I've been eating at home because everywhere you go, it's at least $20 for your meal.
That'll do it.
So honestly, I couldn't tell you. Although there is a curry spot, like a Indian place that's about a block away from me, that every time I walk by there, I can just smell all the beautiful spices they're putting into their food, and like my stomach starts to growl, and I'm like, wow, I really want to eat there. Then I went online and I'm like, $17. I don't think I can do it. And then I ordered Wingstop because it was cheaper.
Wingstop being cheaper, that's a thing I've never heard.
Welcome to the big city. The food costs an arm and a leg.
Lovely. I can't wait to go visit over there. Have you been meditating, stretching, and eating kale?
I have been meditating. I actually did stretch this morning. I can't say I've been eating kale.
Oh, well, you're 2 for 3. But for those who are a fan of Miss Borvh, they'll get the joke and the reference. But alas, 2 for 3. It's not good enough. No. Actually, I do have one quick question. What is your take on Taylor Swift?
I think that Taylor Swift is an artist that is for some people. She isn't necessarily for me, but I do see the appeal. I do see the draw. I don't necessarily partake in her recent music, but when I was 13, I loved the Red album. And I loved her early stuff, Romeo and Juliet, those songs really spoke to me at that age, but I've kind of grown out of her,
Fair enough.
What I'm saying? It just doesn't really resonate with me anymore. But I can see the appeal. Definitely a bigger fan of Beyonce. If anybody was to take over the city, I would prefer that it be her, because the girls, the gays, and the theys come out to fucking slay whenever Beyonce is in town, and I would love to see their outfits. Not to say that the T-Swiftie fans don't come to kill, but there's a little bit more, what do you call it? Je ne sais quoi about the Beyonce fans that I really enjoy. So yeah, that's my personal take on her. She's for some people, she's just not for me.
It do be that way. The only reason I ask is I wrote a essay kind of about Taylor Swift the other day.
Essay?
It's about standards, but the first chunk of it was about Taylor Swift, and I had a table where I just didn't understand the appeal. So I asked the lady who was wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. I was like, what is it about her? And the 3 points she made was that, the last one was that she writes her own music. And I was like, that's not a selling point. That should be the standard. But then
that should be the standard, yeah. But I mean, when you think about it, songwriters get employed because artists have voices, but they don't necessarily have the skill to make something worth listening to over and over again.
That's fair.
The lyricism is what keeps them coming. The voice is what draws them in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good way to look at it. I feel like it should be the standard of, if you're going to be performing or writing or making music, you should be able to do your own music. But I don't know.
I think that also comes with time. Some artists will have for instance, Chappelle Roan. Do you know who that is?
Name kind of sounds familiar.
She recently blew up. She just released an album called The Midwest Princess. or the rise and fall of the Midwest Princess. And she's from Springfield, Missouri. So started in humble Midwest town.
Faux shizzle.
And she's very open about like her process and how she has had like assistants writing a lot of her songs because she got signed to a record label when she was like 17, and then during COVID it kind of fell apart. But point being is that at the beginning she kind of like had help to create like the catchy melodies and like the lines that really stuck with people, but over time like that help is essentially like taught her how to write for herself. So I mean, I think that like, you know, there's a nuance to it all. Some people learn over time, some people never learn at all.
Fair enough.
But as long as they're creating a production, whoever the team is, you know, there can be a ton of people behind the scenes, but like what you're going to see in the front line is the production. And as long as the production is something that people want to see again and again, then, you know, you've done something good. Even if like the people who are truly behind it aren't necessarily standing up on the stage.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. Like the way you describe it, just I don't know, hearing, because I've heard it multiple times. Oh, she writes her own songs. That's I don't know, but yeah. Before we get off on another tangent and talk forever, because I know that I can do that. I know that you and I can do that.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, no, I feel like this is a good spot to wrap up. We've only slightly pissed off the Swifties, maybe.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe, I don't know. If you're a Swiftie, go.
We'll see if they leave any hate comments.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's all good. Nobody listens to this. But yeah. This has been fun and definitely much needed to catch up with my good old pal Cass Borvh. They can find you at Borvh. Is that what it is?
That is correct. Borvh on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. And soon to be Borvh on Spotify, but you gotta wait a little bit for that.
Gotta wait a little bit about that.
I'm not gonna put out anything until it's absolutely ready.
Are you doing the DistroKid thing?
Actually, I'm probably gonna do CD Baby because DistroKid requires a yearly subscription, and if you don't pay it, they take your music off of streaming platforms. Versus CD Baby, you just pay a one-time fee, and then your music is on there forever.
Huh. That sounds way cooler. Well, once again...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to make a pros and cons list, but I'm leaning towards CD Baby.
Well, once again, we've promoted someone else without getting paid, so yeah.
Send me my check, CD Baby.
I suppose we should stop talking about people for free. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to have you on the show again. We can't wait to hear how the rest of Chicago goes, and can't wait for those Christmas shows.
Absolutely. The feeling's mutual.
It's been a pleasure, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.